Hello and welcome to my productive nighttime routine. My main goals for my nighttime routine are to relax, spend some time with my family, and prepare for the next day to make my mornings run a heck of a lot more smoothly. When I come home from my job as a nurse, I will typically spend some time working on some side hustle stuff like YouTube, blog, things like that. So the start of making dinner kind of helps me signify when it's time to put the work away and start to wind down. There are occasions where I do work on stuff later in the evening, but I try to not make that the rule because trust me, I am the queen of burnout. I kick off my evenings with making dinner. I try to plan my dinners each week so I don't have to come home from my day job and try to figure out what to make that night when I'm already tired from a long day at work. That does happen, and on those nights, we have spaghetti. This evening, I was making a really simple, it's like a pasta dish. For this meal, I sauteed some onions and garlic in a little bit of olive oil, and then I took some canned tomatoes. These were diced tomatoes, so I ended up just crushing them with a potato masher. While I was waiting for that to saute, I started cooking my pasta. I think I used angel hair pasta this night. Really, it just depends what kind of pasta I have. I don't really have a preference. It's just what is available to me. I love making simple pasta dishes because I can often cook the pasta in the same amount of time that I'm cooking the other things that go in with the pasta. I did strain my pasta and keep some of that pasta water just so I was able to thin out the sauce a little bit later in the video. One thing that has been a game changer for me is while I'm waiting for my food to cook, I really try to clean up all of the mess that I made. I don't like waking up to a messy kitchen. It does happen. We are busy. My husband and I both work outside of the home. It's a bit much. My husband typically will do the dishes in the evening and put away any leftovers that we have, which is very helpful. If you're new here and you don't know, I have a massive garden. I do also live in Wisconsin and it is cold here right now. We are in the middle of winter, but somehow my parsley was still edible from my garden, so I did go out and grab some parsley for this pasta dish. Once the tomatoes, onions, and garlic were done cooking, I added the pasta. I did end up using some of that pasta water. I didn't show it, but just to kind of thin it out a little, I did end up adding a little bit of salt as we were eating it, and it was very good. Here's me being the parsley bae. I do like eating vegetables alongside my pasta dishes just because pasta isn't the most nutritious thing, but I'm not about to act like I'm perfect. Honey, I like ramen, okay? Sometimes we eat ramen, sometimes we eat spaghetti. A fed family with food in their bellies is what is most important to me. At this point of the night, I am trying to make it a little bit cozier. My kids are really way too cool for me, so I did sit down and ended up eating by myself. One of my daughters was at her extracurricular and the other one was in her bedroom, but I did maybe bribe her with some season 2 Grey's Anatomy. We've started Grey's Anatomy from the beginning, and you can kind of see my daughter come in, and I'm like, oh, all of a sudden you want to hang out with me. So that was really nice. It was just her and I at home because my husband and my other daughter were out with the extracurriculars. My husband and I kind of take turns on taking the kids to their extracurriculars. They have them more than one day a week, so we really kind of have it figured out to work best for the both of us. Once I finished eating, I headed into the kitchen to start putting the food away. My husband does this a lot of the time, but he wasn't home, so I figured I would do it myself. I like making extra food when I make dinner at night, so my husband and I have leftovers. Having leftovers really helps us both avoid going out and getting takeout during our lunch break at work, and it's just so easy, so I really try to make enough for us to have lunch for at least one day. This was a lot of food, so I think we ended up eating this for a couple days, which was amazing. I really like vegetables, so I made 2 dishes with half spaghetti, well, we'll call it spaghetti, half pasta and half veggies, and then the big bowl was for my husband. After dinner, I like to wash my face, kind of start my, obviously making dinner is part of my evening routine, but this is kind of the start of my comfy, cozy evening routine. where I wash my face, I do my skincare. I don't do this every night. I wish that I could say that I did, but I do not. And I only recently started doing my skincare. You know, I'm going to be 37 pretty soon, and your girl needs to start taking care of her skin. I did get myself quite the setup from the Inky List. I love the Inky List because they have a ton of products and they are all very affordable. No, this is not sponsored. I feel like I have to say that even though I am always very transparent on whether something is sponsored. I've been using Inky List products for a few years now, so I will link the products that I love in the description. I do earn a very small commission if you guys purchase from my links. It's like pennies. But you know what? Every single penny helps. I'm grateful for all of you. So if that's something that you're into, you guys can check down below. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has to open their mouth when they're doing things with their eyes, whether it's mascara, eyeliner, cleaning the makeup out from under my eyes. I always have my mouth open and I don't know why, and it's so embarrassing. So I tried to cut it out as much as I could. But please tell me I'm not alone. This is going to be a really random fact about me, but I hate watching people brush their teeth, so I will not put you through that torture. It just, it literally gives me the willies. My family has a small urban homestead where we have 5 chickens and 30 plus quail at the moment. We will be minimizing our quail pretty soon. We will be getting rid of any of the extra males that we have, but one of the chores that we have to do is change their water and food every day because they drink and eat so much. So here I'm just kind of keeping Charlie entertained while he does those chores. It's Christmas, okay, so don't judge me. I've got some Christmas gifts on my dresser. All right, we're not focusing on that. We're also not focusing on the dead flowers. What we are focusing on is the fact that we are planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So what I'm doing is I'm picking out my clothes for the next day. Work clothes and workout clothes. Work clothes aren't really that big of a deal. I literally show up to work, I change into scrubs. It ain't no thing. I really don't even care what I look like at work. I don't care. But I do still prepare the simple clothes, compression socks, things like that. Part of me wishes that I kept the audio in this clip because I have no idea what Charlie and I are laughing about, but it seems pretty funny. So just know we are having a really fun time laughing about funny things. I will link my compression socks down below because I have had these since I was, I think, a nursing student, either a brand new nurse or a nursing student. So it's been years. Nursing student. You guys, voiceovers are so freaking hard. You have no idea. I hate doing them, but I know you guys like them. So here we are. And here we are at my favorite part of the night. This is where I really start unwinding. I kind of get ready for bed. I climb into my bed. I do a little journaling. I plan for the next day. I also like to read during this time. My kids kind of come in and out. Sometimes they snuggle me. Sometimes they just give me a hug and say goodnight. Really kind of depends on the night. But I am one of those people that will lay up in my bed thinking about all the stupid shit I said, thinking about all the things I have to do the following day, and just writing them down, getting them out on paper is such a game changer for me. I am still trying to get back into my planning era. When I was a nursing student and I also had a YouTube channel, I was so freaking organized, you guys. It was insane. Delilah had a lot of doctor's appointments, and somehow I was able to keep it all together. I don't know what happened after that. I got so burnt out from doctor's appointments and making sure that every single moment of my life was planned that I just stopped for years and years. So I'm currently trying to get back into that. I do find that if I plan the next day, my day goes so much more smoothly. I am always reading 2 books at the same time. Typically one is fiction and one is nonfiction. I don't want to say the fiction book that I'm reading right now because people like to spoil that for me, especially when I post it on Instagram. And it's honestly people that are like in my real life, like people that I know, like to spoil books for me. So I'm not going to share that one. I'll share it in a future video, but it's very good. It's by Colleen Hoover, in case you're curious. If you want, I will post it in the description, but if you spoil it, I'm going to be real mad, okay? but I'm also reading Atomic Habits, which is the nonfiction book that I'm reading. It is so good so far. I'm not even halfway through, but so far what I've learned is that if you make small changes throughout your life or throughout your days, you're going to slowly accumulate into a much bigger change. And another thing that kind of resonated with me was the way that you identify. If you identify as a fit person, you are going to more likely do things that align with being a fit person, eating better meals and working out every day. And one thing for me is I am a YouTuber. So if I identify as a YouTuber, I'm going to be doing those things that are going to align with me, that are going to basically align with being a YouTuber, like posting content regularly. So really great book. If you are kind of stuck in a rut, I highly recommend it. And with that, we are at the conclusion of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this evening routine. No 2 days are ever alike, but I hope this gave you a good idea on how this night went for me. Google, turn off Alyssa. Turn on Alyssa.